All right, so what do you throw more, 4 seams or 2?
I throw way more 4 seams.
Okay. What is your second most used offering?
Changeup.
Okay, do you believe that the 2 seam or 4 seam movement best profiles the changeup movement?
2 seam probably more so. Well, it's more similar. It's more similar to the changeup.
There were some 4 seams you threw that had more horizontal movement than vertical, like 15-10. And then there were some 2 seams you threw that had more vertical movement than horizontal.
That's awesome.
But just catching your 2 seam, it definitely moves a lot more than your 4 seam.
Okay.
Do you hold a 4 seam changeup?
No, 2 seam changeup.
2 seam changeup?
Yeah.
So let's go 2 seamer and then changeup. We'll pair it for 3.
All right.
Bring it on, Sally. Yeah, I mean, if anyone were to probably see this data with that 2 seamer, they'd be like, yeah, throw that. Because you're getting 16 horizontal
Gotcha.
and 6 vertical.
Okay.
So you have 10 inches of deviation. That's like change-up numbers right there. And your spin efficiency went to 95%. Throw your change-up, and then we'll see the movement profiles.
Okay.
And now if we have a change-up paired with a 2-seamer, same movement profiles, but 10 miles an hour harder, and essentially same grip, right, with the 2-seam axis.
Yep.
Probably going to be a better pair for that.
All right. That's horrible. That's the worst change I've ever thrown in my life.
You reckon?
100%.
I've thrown some pretty bad change-ups. So perfect. Your change-up is 6 and 15. Okay. 6 vertical, 15 horizontal. So literally the exact same movement profile, 99% spin efficiency, you're giving it an opportunity to move.
Okay.
Same spin axis and same arm slot as your 2-seam fastball, right? With 600 less total RPMs. And your velocity is roughly, I know you're throwing it 60% or whatever, but roughly like 8 to 10.
Okay.
So let's hammer that and we can get somewhere else with it. And then after we do like 2 more sets of the 2-seam changeup, we'll throw your slider in there, and then I'll give you some suggestions based on the data on how we can kind of get a better overall repertoire given the 2-seam changeup.
Okay. Changeup or 2-seam here?
Changeup. Good.
Thank you.
Slider. So like the data, like do you know your data on your slider?
Yes.
You do?
Yeah.
So it's like a slurve.
Okay.
So you're at like 61, 62% spin efficiency, right around 2,000 RPMs, 0 vertical break, and then minus 13 horizontal break. So it's a sweeper, right? The conversation that like, the only conversation that I would want to have maybe is like, we can keep that pitch, but ideally, I think what would benefit you would be like a bullet slider. So like something that's harder and later, because like when you're at 62% spin efficiency on a slider, it's going to be a sweeper. It's like what my slurve is. So it's like, it's not necessarily like a bad thing. It's just like your 2-seam and your changeup are both coming out of the tunnel that's like in the same location vicinity, and then it's making its movement profile. And both pitches, 2-seam or changeup, are gonna be roughly like similar movement, right? This is good in terms of the movement in the other direction, but it's gonna be a lot slower than those 2 pitches, which is gonna give the hitter a reaction, right? And it's gonna come out of a different tunnel to end in the same location. You think you would want to play with like a different offering?
Yeah, 100%. Also, just like I had a bullet slider before, slipped. It wasn't fast enough.
Yeah. I just acknowledged that I couldn't throw a slider hard, and I went with a sweeper like the slurve, but then I just kept my cutter.
Okay.
Right. So like that'd be a good idea for you is like just taking your 4-seamer and then just tilting it. Have you ever thrown like a cutter?
I've tried.
The only reason I would like be hesitant with you is because like the first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to pull up, right?
Sounds about right.
And create like the off part of it. I just acknowledged that I couldn't throw a slider hard, and I went with a sweeper like the slurve, but then I just kept my cutter.
Okay.
Right? So like that'd be a good idea for you is like just taking your 4-seamer and then just tilting it. Have you ever thrown like a cutter?
I've tried.
The only reason I would like be hesitant with you is because like the first thing you're gonna want to do is you're gonna want to pull up, right?
Sounds about right.
And create like the off part of it. Let's just play catch with it.
Okay.
And then I can kind of give you, because like the numbers we would shoot for on that would be like, if your slurve is 62%, we would want the cutter at like 75, 70% spin efficiency.
Okay.
But like we would want that velocity 5, no less than like 6 miles an hour off your heater. Right, so you got to 70% spin efficiency, and then your movement profiles were 10 vertical, 9 horizontal. So it's a different look, right?
Yeah.
And your velocity was the same as your changeup, roughly 80.
Okay.
So let's keep playing catch with it, and just keep kind of like experimenting with like, all right, like that's more on top, that's more on the side, and then it's just trial and error. Yeah. That was later.
Okay.
Way less movement.
Yeah.
Velocity shot up, went to 83.
Okay.
And your spin efficiency shot up, went to 71%.
Gotcha.
So like the movement profile is probably going to be in that 50 range.
Yeah.
So now you can start increasing your hand speed or your arm speed,
Okay.
and see what that does for your spin efficiency in comparison to your velocity. Cutter. Yeah. So I know for sure now,
Yeah.
your cutter's better when it's in the 50s.
Okay.
This is where I figured we would get with it.
Yeah.
I love everything I see here.
Go for a strike.
Now it's just consistency of that. Again, look, like this is gonna tell us one side of the story. Your brain's gonna tell us another. Your catcher's gonna tell you another.
Yeah.
The hitters are gonna tell you another. Like accumulate all of the information, but take it all in and then map out like your own roadmap to success, right?